So it's the final game of the season, Manchester United against Chelsea in the FA Cup. So Ball Street have asked me, Sam from United Peoples TV, and Rory from Chelsea Fans TV to look through who we think is actually going to start in the game, our starting 11s, what formation we might use, who's going to probably be our danger men, and maybe where the weak point is in the opposition.
This isn't only the team that I would pick, this is the team I'm predicting Antonio Conte will pick. I think this is our strongest 11. Thibaut Courtois is the best keeper at the club, and therefore there is no other option. I'm then going to go for our left-back position. There is no option here but to go for Marcos Alonso. So
I think he's one of your most dangerous players, Alonso.
I love Marcos Alonso, Sam, but he's one of those weird players who is very divisive. A lot of Chelsea fans aren't fully convinced by him, and he actually, there's a group of Chelsea fans who I don't really have too much interaction with, but they're on Twitter and they're quite vocal, who hate him. They really don't like him. Yeah, they highlight the flaws in his game without ever really appreciating his brilliance. It goes like this. It goes, Azpilicueta will play on this side.
Right.
Rudiger will play on this side, and they will both be flanking Christensen.
Let him off.
So we've got Christensen there. I think.
Right, but who's at your right back as well?
Moses.
Victor Moses.
Yeah, there's no debate over that.
So you definitely play 5 at the back?
I think that we have no option. I think that United's potency means that we have to keep it very short at the back, and this is, for me, our best back line. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and actually, this is where I think the game will be won and lost. The midfield is so important, and this man definitely starts. N'Golo Kante,
yeah, obviously.
For me, the best midfielder in the league at the moment, he has to start. And what I'm going to do is partner him with Cesc Fabregas.
Fabregas.
So there is some debate here. There is, you could make a case for Bakayoko. He hasn't had a good season, but he played very well against Liverpool recently.
He's been slammed by your fans, though.
He's been slammed. He hasn't had a good season, but recently he's looked very good. He had his best game for the club against Liverpool. So there is some. He was dropped the following game, which doesn't make too much sense to me. But there is some.
So those two in the midfield too, which means
I think
you're
we
playing
need
3 up here as well.
Kante for the obvious reason, and Fabregas just because he has that eye for a pass. He can win.
I hope Fabregas plays, and I'll explain why when I do my 11.
Now this is where the game will be won. This is our threat, and it's Eden Hazard. Of course, he starts. He's mesmerising, dazzling when he's on form. Loves a goal against United as well, so fingers crossed that one can come in.
So does Kante.
On the other side, it will be Willian, who is another player that I adore. I think he's such a gifted player, so direct, such a good eye for a goal. I love him. Again, gets a lot of stick, but not for me. I think he's great and has already scored against you this season. Yeah,
I was going to say, if you're looking at which player played better at Old Trafford earlier this year, Willian was your outstanding player in that. He obviously lost 2-1, but he was the one making all the dangerous runs.
Yeah,
absolutely. And he scored the goal.
Absolutely, and he'll be up for this as well. He's been playing very well lately. And maybe surprisingly, I'm dropping the £60 million man, and I'm going
Mr. Morata.
I'm going with Olivier Giroud, who is just a fantastic player. I love him already. He has become a cult hero at Stamford Bridge already.
Why is that? Is that because Morata's so bad?
I think that's probably a contributory factor. But he's been great. He really has been great.
Right, so I mean, it's quite obvious who starts in goal for us. David De Gea, our player of the year, has been our player of the year probably 3 out of the last 4 or 5 years. He's outstanding. I hope he doesn't need to have a busy game, but given that you've got Willian and Hazard, I think you will be making chances. I don't think this back four that I'm going to lay down is going to be watertight. I mean, Man United have got the 2nd best defensive record in the league this year, but it's not because of our defence, it's because of how good De Gea is. And I think Mourinho is going to start with Chris Smalling and Phil Jones, which might sound mad to a Chelsea fan, but that's what we did against Spurs in the semi-final, and it worked.
So 4 on 3.
The problem for United is Eric Bailly is our best centre-back. He's not been fit for a while. Marcus Rojo was one of our better centre-backs last year. He's been injured all season. Victor Lindelof, brought in from Benfica, really hasn't settled that well.
That fills me with joy, that corner. I think that Willian, on his day, has the beating of young playing.
Hands down. I mean, if you look at the semi-final against Spurs again, you saw Davinson Sanchez launched a big long ball over the top.
Eriksen won it, yeah.
Young was caught up around about there, came in behind, Eriksen went in, Ali 1-0. Yeah. You could easily do that. If you get an early goal as well, then you can have Kante sitting deep, and Fabregas can do what you want him to do, and that will be dangerous. Matic, obviously, we need him to have a really good game. We really, really do. I think we're going to play midfield 3, so I'll lay him all down now, and I'll explain it. I'm going to put Pogba, not as a number 10, around about there. Again, this really, really worked for United. I think this is the same starting 11 that Man United played against Spurs in the semi-final. Herrera had an outstanding game. He's been in and out of the team, and some will question whether or not he's going to start for United in midfield next year. But not only did he score against Spurs, he was just brilliant at controlling that midfield. When you look at Dembele, you look at Wanyama, you look at Eriksen, Spurs have got a wicked ball-playing midfield, and he was crucial in shutting the space down. So I think you could see Herrera on Kante, because if we let Kante control the midfield, we're going to lose this game.
Yeah.
Pogba's going to be the one that links the midfield to the attack, which he has struggled at points doing this season. But we need him to have a fantastic game. And if he can, just like he did against Man City, 2-0 down, he scores 2 goals, he turns up, we win 3-2. That made all the difference. But front three, I'm going Jesse Lingard because he loves scoring at Wembley. I'm going Sanchez because he loves scoring at Wembley. And I'm going Romelu Lukaku, who hasn't featured for United for a couple of games. Whether or not he starts defines whether or not United win this final for me.
Right.
Because we are a completely different team with him in and out of the team.
I see.
You see United going forward with Lukaku, his all-round game has improved so much this year. He can hold the ball up. If he can control the ball in his chest, he can bring Lingard and Sanchez into play, get Valencia on an overlap. Lukaku makes a difference. Take him out of the team, you're probably playing Rashford up front there. United are weak in that position. We therefore have to play along the floor the whole way. Sanchez, he'll start to get frustrated. He'll drop deeper. But Sanchez scored against Spurs. He scored for Arsenal in every game he played at Wembley. And United fans are going to be hoping that he does the exact same thing there. Lingard, he scored the winner in the FA Cup final for us against Crystal Palace. I'd love him to do it against you, but look how many defenders you've got there. It's 5 against 3. We're going to need Pogba to get those defence splitting passes. That's why he's got to make a difference. That's why we need 2 midfielders behind him. That's my start 11. That's Rory's start 11. But as we all know, subs can change the game. So if you have to choose one Chelsea sub who's going to change this game and maybe win the FA Cup final for Chelsea, who is it?
I'm going to go for Alvaro Morata. I think he's been terrible for us this season. I think he's had a really bad year.
That's not how you introduce a game-winning sub.
But he has goals in him. You know, he's won 2 European Cups. He knows what it takes to win trophies. So if things aren't going well, or even if they are going well, Giroud's run Smalling and Jones ragged for 70 minutes. We then need somebody to just run the channels, hold the ball up, and hopefully knock in a second goal.
I personally think he's going to start anyway. But if we were looking at Man United, you asked me to choose one. I couldn't. We've got Rashford and Martial on the bench.
Not playing by the rules, no?
No, I'm not playing by the rules. No, United do. They don't sometimes. But Rashford and... If either or, Rashford or Martial, this season have been magnificent game-changing substitutes. I think there's only one player in United's history who has scored more goals from the bench in the Premier League than Martial has this season. He was phenomenal at the start. Something's gone wrong with Mourinho and him since Sanchez came in. So I think Rashford's probably going to come off the bench instead of Martial first. But I like our options from the bench better than yours. I think, I'll be honest, they're quite close to starting 11s. I think there's strengths of yours, there's strengths of ours. Clearly, if you play 5 at the back, United are going to have to play really good football to break that down, because if you sit deep and disciplined, which so many teams have done against United this season, Mourinho's sides struggle to break them down. But what's your prediction for the game? Are you confident?
I'm not too confident, no. I think that if we get it right, we can do it. So I'm going to have to be positive and go 2-1 Chelsea. But no, this is the cup final I've looked forward to least in my life.
I like the sound of that, but no, United are going into this, as bad as we have been in the league in the last few games, obviously losing to Brighton and West Brom, we were excellent against Spurs in that second half at Wembley. So I'm going to back United to win 2-1 because Mourinho doesn't lose finals. And that will definitely get clipped up if we do lose. Should probably not have said that. But anyway, what's your prediction for the FA Cup final? Let us know in the comments below. Ball Street are going to have a reaction after the FA Cup final if Man United or Chelsea win. Obviously, make sure you come here. Thank you very much, Rory.
Thank you. It's always a joy. That is probably going to get clipped up. It is now.